Welcome to Simpsons Malt, so the home of good malt. We want to show you what Simpsons do differently. So they create some beautiful malts here, some malts that are really unique in the industry, but they also take a totally different approach, and you're going to have to follow through with us as we take you on the journey around the maltings here at Tivitchell, so you can see what's different. There's a few things that stand out for us. So they're family business, that's really important to us now. We're trying to focus on working with family businesses because it builds relationships with our family business, and then we can invest together in making sure that we look after you guys with high quality products. They also take control of the seeds that the farmers use. They support the farmers, they know the farmers, they're buying direct from the farmers, they buy everything at the harvest point and bring it all into their grain stores. So the attention to detail, the tightness on their spec, the procedures that they use to create those malts are all very unique, and you're going to get an opportunity to check that out. So come on in and learn a little bit more about Simpsons. So we're at some of the Simpsons grain storage here, joined by John, who's a transport manager.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. John, tell us a little bit about what you do here in this site.
So at Firstfield, we intake barley raw material throughout the year.
Yeah.
So we will bring it in, store it, condition it by running the fans through it, and then we'll feed the maltings from here with barley raw material. So throughout the year, as we empty the stores, we'll be making a plan, looking to fill the store back up again with barley that we have either on farm or other external stores across the country.
You buy directly from farmers?
We do,
and
yes.
You buy it all at harvest?
Yes.
And you
majority, yes, we do. Yeah.
And you have the control of the seed through the sister company that feeds Simpsons as well?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, through MSP, yeah. So that's mainly done through the guys up north.
Yeah.
But down here, you're absolutely right. We buy barley direct from the farm.
Yeah.
And like I say, harvest time, it's our biggest movement into Firstfield. So it's all flat out. Yeah. And a lot of movement, a lot of things happening.
It's the quality of the lorries is phenomenal. We've just seen one pull out there now. You know, really lovely.
Absolutely. I've always said they're the most stunning lorries on the road.
Yeah.
The blue and the yellow contrast is fantastic. When they're clean, they really shine out bright. And And the good thing is our drivers are all proud to, of the wagons and of the colours and being on the road. So it's great.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Jimmy, we're at stage one.
Yeah.
Take me through what's happening here.
Okay, so we've taken the barley from the field. It's been dried and dressed in our stores.
Yeah.
What we now need to do is mimic nature. We're going to get the barley to germinate.
Yeah.
To do that, we have two large steeps. Each holds 70 tonnes of barley.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through a process of wet and dry stands for 48 hours. We're going to rouse it, which you'll see. And basically, we want every grain to start to chit at the same time, so that all the grains coming forwards into the germination stage at the same point.
Yeah.
We're taking something so random as all these barley from all this field, and we're trying to make it all line up at the same point.
Yeah. And when the barley's getting wet, what's actually being achieved there?
Okay.
What's going on inside it?
Okay, so when we're increasing the moisture content of the grain, when the grain basically gets to 44% around there.
The grain releases a hormone.
It releases a hormone called gibberellin.
Okay.
The gibberellin will be moved around the outside of the grain through the alurone layer and the scutellum. That will cause it to produce enzymes. The enzymes will then break down the endosperm, which will start to feed the embryo.
Yeah.
And then the embryo will form a chit, and that's the very initial start of it growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once it gets the chit stage, then the water's removed.
We would have wet and dried.
Okay.
To make for that particular barley to get to 44% as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And those wets and dries will actually change as the barley matures across the year.
Yeah.
And every season it'll be different.
Yeah.
So we have labs where we're testing the barley all the time to see if it'll go and what's the best routine at that point.
Yeah, and every season it'll be different soakage and
every variety, always different. Yeah.
So once the 70 tons are starting to chit here, they then go to a germination vessel.
They will go from here to a germination vessel, and they will have a 3-day germination. before they go into the roasters for making crystal malts.
Yeah.
Or they will go onto a germination floor, be dried as chit malt,
Yeah.
and we will roast that in the roasters as black malt and chocolate malt.
Okay. So Jamie, right, we're at the germination stage. Take me through what's happening here.
So we've seen the barley coming out of the steep. It's just chitted.
Yeah.
It comes into this floor here. There's about 40 tons in this particular one. We can get 60 tons in here. I'm going to leave it on this floor for 3 to 4 days. We're going to control the temperature and the moisture content. We're going to use these augers to break up the rootlets so it doesn't get matted.
Yeah.
And basically we're going to look after it and allow it to germinate to the point where we think the endosperm is properly converted, ready to go forwards into the roast house.
Yeah. So this is day one. You can see, you know, rootlets are starting to pop out. Smells like cucumber. What happens day 2 and 3 and?
Okay, so as you see, there's rootlets here. Underneath the back of the grain, the acrospire is starting to grow.
Okay.
And we're going to measure that by peeling the back off the husk.
Okay.
And when we get to about 3/4 length, that in effect is done.
Okay.
Today it smells like a cucumber.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it'll smell like a lawn, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll smell like a European lager malt.
Yeah. Only this is highly modified
Yeah,
malt.
this is really highly modified malt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we're ready for it, we'll come in and we'll skim off the top layer and it'll go across to the roast house wet.
Okay.
So it's not kilned, it goes into the roast house wet for making crystal malt.
Okay. So we're in a GKV. Well, some people won't know what that is. Dan, you're production manager in here. Take us through what this vessel does and what you look after at Simpsons.
So this vessel here is what we call a GKV. It's a germination kilning vessel, which means for the first 4 days it's in here, we're actually germinating the grain.
Yeah.
And on day 4, we've got the ability of opening and closing some doors.
Yeah.
And therefore turning it into a kilning vessel.
Yeah. And you're kiln just to get all the moisture out of it. And
Yeah, exactly that. So at the moment we're about between 42 and 44% moisture.
okay.
For the customer, we want to dry that down to between 2 and 4% depending
Okay.
on the product.
Yeah. And after it leaves here, it goes straight to packaging then, once that
Yes.
process.
Yeah, once it's left here, so it'll leave the vessel, it'll go over some dressers, get screened, decombed,
Yeah.
and then be ready to pack.
Hi, my name's Paul. I'm the roast house supervisor. I'm going to introduce you to Phil, who's going to kind of go through the process of roasting for you.
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm an operator in the roast house here at Simpsons Malt. We roast oats, rye and barley. It's a multi-stage process. The pre-stew is where the drum is warmed up. The stew is where the starch is then converted into sugar, where we get the colours from in the roasting stage. And then it goes on to the drying stage, and then finally the roasting stage. You will see how we use grinds to match up with a sample to get closest to our target colour. Once that is finally achieved, it'll then be discharged into the cooler and ran away into analysis bins.
So, welcome to Simpsons packaging area. I'm joined by Ashley, who's production manager here, looking after bagging. Take us through what you do here.
So basically, on a day-to-day basis, we'll intake malt from the rest of the site. It'll come in. We have a day plan that the guys will follow. We store 12 products in here. The rest have to run direct to the bagging machine. The guys will then input the number of bags they'll do. We'll either mill or do it whole.
Yeah.
They'll input it in, set the line up, press the button. The bags will fill, automatically go down. They'll go through a stitcher where they're stitched. They'll then go through a metal detector and a check wire to obviously determine there's no foreign bodies in the mold. The weight's correct. Then it'll come to a palletizer. That'll take it up. It'll automatically palletize it. 4 layers, 10 layers, 4 bags per layer. It'll come out the palletizer into the hooder. We'll get two hoods, and then we'll go straight to racking. We either distribute to overseas or to the UK. We have a third-party warehouse that builds all our pallets for UK customers. All American customers go out direct through here via containers.
Okay. Yeah. So really, the quality of the malt, the process from the start continues in here at bagging. It's all about high quality,
Correct.
premium.
We expect the quality of the malt to be usable when it gets up here.
Yeah.
But it still goes through a process. But we have to guarantee that nothing in that process has either contaminated the product,
Yeah.
any foreign bodies from the process has got into the product. That's where the metal detector and the check weigher comes in.
Yeah. It's nice machinery. Like, I love that little shrink wrapper.
We are very lucky in what we have. We used to have an old shrink wrapper.
Yeah.
We're quite lucky with what we've got now. It makes the pallet look more presentable, I think, to the customer.
Yeah.
Also gives the customer a visual point, as in you can see what's on the pallet before they've got to unwrap it.
Yeah.
It is a good bit of kit.
Yeah. Right, let's get a look around. Check it out.
Excellent.
Jamie, thanks so much for today.
Pleasure.
It was a very interesting tour. I suppose we should finish with why choose Simpsons?
Well, we're still an independent family business. We're a B Corp business. We have a fairly unique way of supplying our raw materials. We're buying our barley direct from the growers.
Yeah.
From that, we can work on sustainability. We can work on traceability.
Yeah.
And we have a number of products that no one else can supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why I like it. Like the spec and the malt's really tight. You can see you do things a bit differently here, which is, you know, it's shining in the quality. And it's really important to Deborah and I as a family business that we work with other family businesses. And the introduction was through Richard to the business, you know, and obviously he's now the current chairman. And I just liked his approach. I liked the people that I've met today. So yeah, thanks very much. So,
It's a pleasure.
If you need any Simpsons malt and you're based in Ireland, make sure you check it out in the links below. And if you're watching this from outside of Ireland, then reach out to Jamie and he'll get you some Simpsons malt.